Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lock Shop, 11:01 here in Edmonton. It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers and St. Louis Blues tonight. EST parlay's been sent off to the boys. I haven't checked yet if it is up, but I know they aren't messing around, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is already up. I'll check. The Lock Shop is brought to you by our great partners over at Coolbet. Let me check exclusives here. Edmonton Sports Talk parlay. They don't mess around, do they? Nice number 2. Bouchard assist, Hyman point, Draisaitl 2 points. Oilers win. Money line plus 444. So that's good. Looking forward to that. So if you want to ride with me on that, go over to Coolbet, log into your account. If you haven't signed up already, use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to, 200 smackaroos. How's that sound? I think that sounds really nice. Huss is back from Costa Rica. He looks like he's going to be sliding in here right away. I wonder if he brought that magic pool with him. We'll find out. Here's what we're going to get to in the Lock Shop today. Obviously, Huss is back from Costa Rica, and we are turning around a poker tournament again next week. This will be the February tourney because it's going to be a down week next week. 4 Nations underway, no NHL hockey, and then we're going to be in Boston for that final week of 4 Nations, so we can't do it that week, and then there's a bunch of Oilers and Jets games the final week. So we're going to do a poker tournament next Tuesday. I think Huss is probably on board being poker guy now, right? I think he's got to probably be pretty excited to bring his skills back, his new skill set from Costa Rica in the live game and bring it online. So let's bring in Huss. Welcome back, my man. How was the travel home?
Great to be back. It was a grind. I'm a little jet lagged.
Where'd you go? What was the deal?
I was up and out of the hotel at 5:15 or something like that yesterday morning. And then flew out of San Jose around 8:30, like in the 8 o'clock hour. I can't remember exactly what time I left, to Toronto. And then, had to do the pickup bags, go back through security and all that in TO. And then I got back about 9 o'clock last night. That Toronto, Costa Rica flight's about 5 hours.
Okay.
So it's not, it's weird. It seems so far away from those of us north of the border. And yet I'm sitting at dinner on Saturday night with some of the guys. Pablo, who is sort of Pat's, does what Pat does for Coolbet down in Chile. And I'm talking to them about getting there. I'm thinking like, you got a 2-hour flight or something like that? No, it was like a 7 or 8 hour flight. And because of how the roads are built in these countries, I mean, to get anywhere takes about 3 or 4 times as long as it does for us in North America, where highways are sort of built to go fast. The travel day was, I knew it would be a bit of a grind, but I'm very happy to be back. It was an unbelievable week. And as I tweeted out, a huge thanks to the Coolbet team. It was really neat to be a part of it. Obviously we've got such a great relationship with as part of the Coolbet team here in Canada, but Dusty, that dinner that we were at on Saturday, which kind of had everyone that was there with Coolbet. There was people from Canada, Iceland, Norway, Finland, Chile, Estonia, Costa Rica, and I think someone from Mexico. So it was a real United Nations of the event. And I can't wait for next Tuesday. And I think, from talking to Svein, who I think is a guy that's a big part of the growth of the Coolbet poker, which is, doing very, very well and has obviously a lot of participation out in Europe. We got thinking more that, Sunday has been a day that's been huge for them for their bigger tournaments.
Yep.
Obviously, Sunday doesn't really work for any of us from the beginning of September until now. But I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe got into a little Sunday action with the
Sunday night tourney
tables. as we get into the long off season, because those Sundays quickly go from one of the best days of the week to just Sunday scaries. Oh my God, we got to work tomorrow. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to it. And I will say this, the grind of those big tourneys, live tourneys, where you're playing top players, high stakes, it is mentally exhausting. I mean, as I mentioned, I lasted probably about 7.5 hours in the main event. And afterwards, I was my brain was just rattled, basically, from all the decisions and the patience that you have to have, and but I did learn a lot. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully we can get in on another one of those at some point in the future, because it was a great opportunity, and I mean, unbelievable week. They took care of us big time.
All right, so a couple of things. One more time, next Tuesday night, that is the 11th. That is their next Lock Shop Poker Series event, just because of busy time later in the month. So Tuesday, February 11th, we will have our next draft. So a week from today, not draft, our next poker tournament. So a week from today, be ready next Tuesday, and it should be another good time. Big Maple is asking, did Huss procure residency for next winter and finally starting Costa Rican Sports Talk? Is that an option, Huss?
Hey, listen, I won't get too much into it, but that is a country of great temptation. To let's just say, to stick around. It was I mean, it's basically kind of like paradise, man. Like, I get why so many Canadians go down there and then make it an annual thing. I mean, it's basically 27, 28 every single day. I mean, right now with what's happening with our dollar, it wasn't particularly cheap, but it was for most of the stuff. And I guess we were maybe in kind of a nicer area. So things were maybe a little bit more expensive, but I mean, it's not like going to the States right now, and, having a 68 or 69 cent dollar. And, let's just say that the Costa Rican people, I won't single out any particular sex, but a very good looking country. It's all that fruit they eat there, the Pura Vida.
That's what it is.
You could, as I say, I will leave it at that. But it was phenomenal. It's a great spot, and yes, I would definitely need to crank up my my Spanish ability if I wanted to.
If you're going to be down there, yeah. If you wanted to do Costa Rican Sports Talk, CRST.
I did get into the one thing I was disappointed, and I didn't really think this through long enough. The first night that we were there, which we kind of didn't have a lot going on, one of the top soccer teams there had a match. Okay. I ended up catching the end of it on TV, and I'm like, oh my God, I was kicking myself for not finding a way to get down there. I always sort of wanted to get to soccer games in other countries, and I really haven't been. I mean, the only non-North American travel I have done in my life is Qatar, and that was
for the World Cup. Yeah,
so, I mean, that was, obviously that's entirely.
I mean, you checked off a few soccer boxes at the World Cup in Qatar, though.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, you get down to these smaller, Latin American countries, and they certainly do love their soccer. So that would have been a cool experience that we didn't do. But
Big Uke in the chat says, so what you're saying, Huss, is when your new Costa Rican son is old enough, you'll help him start CRST.
Yeah, let me just give a quick plug, though. If you are in the San Jose Estacu area, and I know you're going to want to go to many of the, shall we say, the more local areas. I mean, there's incredible food and stuff like that, and definitely hit some of those local spots. But do not miss your opportunity to pop into the Hooters. I just thinking about that place right now.
Oh God, I love you, man. Like all of Costa Rica, you're like, do not miss the opportunity to go to Hooters in Costa Rica.
It was something else. I would just say that it was something else. They've got it going on there. Great management, great service, and those wings that you love here in Canada, and in the United States, they're there for you as well. Couple of interesting things though that they do have, like we had this amazing breakfast buffet every morning at the hotel. Much like their other meals, like the rice and beans is like a breakfast dish there as well.
Really?
With like the chicken or some sort of stewed meat on top of it. That was great. And then the fruit. I mean, oh my God, you're just sitting there. I ate so much pineapple over the last week, which I've always loved. It is my favorite, but it's just on another level there. So we did all that. And then, as I said, I mean, I know you guys were having some fun with it, but basically since that ride with Huss cashed in the AFC Championship game, just about every single thing I touched was a winner. And the only one that didn't win all week was the WST parlay on Saturday. And that was the one that I wasn't able to do from the Magic pool. And the Jets still did win that game, but Velarde didn't get the goal. So that was the one thing that didn't cash. I went 2-for-0 in the Royal Rumble bets.
I heard about that on Monday's show. Yeah.
I mean, and I put that out. It'll be interesting to get back to WST today because there was a lot of intrigue about the Penta 5-1 Ironman bet, which, by the way, was highly controversial. And I'm lucky.
I heard that. Did his feet touch or something?
Yeah, right off the bat. So like it starts with, and I was so pumped. The minute I saw him coming in at number 2, I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I was thinking with this bet. You know, they're really trying to make him, he's not going to win the whole thing, but to have a long run in the Rumble would be great for taking his character to the next level. And that's exactly what happened. But when the Rumble started, it was Rey Mysterio and Penta, and they were doing all this crazy luchador stuff. And he went over and he was hanging the top rope. And it was very obvious that both his feet hit. But that wasn't the plan. So like, oh, it was only one. And luckily, they don't have VAR in the WWE at this point. So somehow it was just yet another bad call in professional wrestling refereeing. And he ended up going the 42 minutes and getting it done. And my only regret, I mean, I had said that I really thought that group, based on the odds, the winner was going to come from Cena, Punk, maybe up to Roman Reigns. But I did like Jey Uso in the top 4. He was that, we got him at plus 250. When he won the Rumble, I was super happy for him, but also kicking myself that I didn't have a little bit on him because I think he was 20 or 25-1 to win. And then last night, if anybody saw Raw, the Yeet show was in full effect. He is on fire. He is over, as they say in the business, more than anybody. So, but that was very nice. So I am so ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you are. You're in a good spot.
And I think the account has been 3x'd since in the last 10 days.
Goes down to Costa Rica, comes back as Coolbet and counts 3 times as big. Like, unbelievable, this guy. This run that he's on. A couple of quick comments in the chat. Then we're going to take a look ahead to some Super Bowl stuff. Cooper Kupp, apparently he's going to be traded. We'll get into that. I still want your thoughts on Luka for AD, so we'll go there. And then we got an NHL slate as well. But Big Yuka saying, how many 7-Elevens did they have down there, Huss?
You know what? They didn't, but there were some other, like the stores right outside our spot. There was a thing that looked like just a massive storage shed. And it turned out it was like basically a massive grocery store. Like the architecture and the things are built in a very, very different way.
Down there, yeah.
Different way. So yeah, no, I was without Sev until I got to Toronto Pearson.
It's the airport.
And then the minute you get out of the international side to go over to the domestic flight, you walk through that big 7-Eleven. So I felt it was good to be home.
That's when you knew you were back.
I grabbed a slice and a taquito, and we were ready to go. I don't have a top 10 Hooters list.
I thought it was in the chat too.
I'll tell you where my number one is. It's that one.
Oh boy. All right. So, hey, you were down there when the trade broke on Saturday. I'm assuming even shockwaves through Costa Rica when Luka Doncic gets traded for Anthony Davis.
Well, funny story, man. So this is all happening on Saturday night, right? So the Jets are playing, but we also had this big dinner that we were going to with all of the Coolbet people from around. One of the great meals I've ever had in my life. Thank you again to Spain and the gang for their hospitality. So we're at this restaurant until about 10 or so. And then afterwards, everyone was having a bunch of drinks. So we get back to the hotel and we're in the lobby bar, and the Finns and some of the Canadian guys are doing this big pool tournament. We're just kicking around there, having a few drinks. And I'm like, okay, I'm going onto my phone. I'm worried that I'm going to spoil the Royal Rumble for myself. So I ripped up to my room. I just basically, the beauty of having it on Netflix, I just went right up and I spent about an hour taking off from the crew, and I watched the Royal Rumble. So whatever, I'm fired up. Penta, the Iron Man, Jey Uso. So I go back downstairs and we're going to hit in the casino, and I'm, this is now late. Like I think it broke at about 1:30.
Yeah, it was like 10:45, 11 o'clock Mountain Time. So around midnight, around midnight Central. Yeah, around midnight.
So we're probably 12:15. The bar is just closing. We're going into the casino, and I'm on my phone, and I see this tweet from Shams. And I go, oh my God, Shams got hacked.
Yes.
Oh, someone has Shams' account. And they're trying to say that Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers. This is nuts. And the guy's like, what, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, check it out. Like, that's his real account. And then we were like, could this? And then so you start scrolling. And then within 5 or 10 minutes, ESPN had it up. And I'm like, this is real? Come on. There's no way. So I ended up going into the casino like, oh my God, this is real. And even in Costa Rica, you could see people talking about this.
Yeah.
Because basketball, I mean, I don't think it's huge, but I mean, Doncic, the Lakers, this was big.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
There was a lot of, there was people from all different countries too. So, I mean, people were talking about it. I refused to believe it was real for about the first half hour. I mean, and anyway,
I was waiting for somebody to confirm it outside of Shams just to know the account wasn't hacked. You know what I mean? Like somebody else say that this is actually a thing.
Yeah. So anyways, it was legit. And then Bill Simmons and Russillo did an emergency podcast with their sort of live reaction to it. So I listened to that, going to bed that night, and kind of woke up and I'm like, I just cannot believe this. And I don't know where you're at on this. Like, it seemed to be, well, the funny thing is the Mavericks must have hated Doncic so much.
Had to have. Like
to be forced to feel that this is what's better for the franchise now and going into the future. He's 25 years old. Five-time first All-NBA.
Averaged 33, 10, and 9 last year and took him to a final, buddy. It's insane.
I thought the return for him was so underwhelming. Like AD, listen, AD's actually been really good.
Yeah, like I pointed out yesterday, AD is 10th in the league in scoring right now and like 6th in rebounding. Like AD's not washed. He's still a bit of a Band-Aid, but he's like averaging 25 and 11 this year. Like he's having a pretty good year, and he's a great defender. But
also 32.
I don't to me, the only way this goes down is that the Mavs decided they wanted to target AD. Because if you're going to trade Luka, you're going to tell everybody else, hey, I'm trading Luka. Like, get your offers in. They obviously didn't want to get it out there and accept like 6 or 7 first-round picks that would have been offered because they don't want to go into rebuild mode. So they're thinking, we got Kyrie, we got Clay, we need a big. Anthony Davis is still one of the big men in the league, but I just don't know if that's how you handle an asset who's 25 years old and has been top 6 in MVP voting 6 straight years. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Apparently he's 20 or 25 pounds overweight. He was a pain in the ass to deal with. And their GM, Nico, whatever. I always keep on calling him Nico Collins.
I think it's Nico Williamson.
Yeah. GM Nico decided that they were going to do this. I guess identified Davis was the guy that they wanted, and they went out and they got it done. But it just seemed to be like, how they didn't get an extra 2 or 3 first-round picks in that trade. I mean, you wonder. And what would a team like San Antonio or some of the other teams, what would they have been willing to give a team like that? And the other interesting thing from a Laker perspective is the fact that LeBron is not running the show anymore in LA. And listen, he's, at the end of his career, he shouldn't be. But the fact that the fact that this all happened in silence and broke, and LeBron found out like everybody else. Luka bought a $15 million house in Dallas last week and was apparently crying when he found out about it.
Well, he also loses like $115 million in max contract money.
Yeah, no supermax for Luka. Now, I think there's a way he can sign, if he signs a shorter deal, a 2 to 3 year deal, and gets to the 10 years of service. And at that point, as a free agent, he should be able to recoup quite a bit. But it's a real coup for the Lakers in that they basically already have their succession plan. Like, I think it makes them probably worse right now.
Slightly. I think slightly different.
Like not having AD there and what he brings to the team, and having Luka and LeBron who kind of do similar things. Like for the short term, it might not be great for them. I do wonder what the domino effect of this are. Like, is LeBron, he's definitely going to want to compete for a championship over these final couple of years in the league. Does he maybe be a little bit more open to potentially moving?
Maybe, but Luka Doncic just took the Mavs to a championship last year, a final last year, right? Like, I would assume there's a big coming somewhere for the Lakers. And they went into MSG and torched the Knicks without Anthony Davis on Saturday. So, and then you're getting arguably like a top 3 player in the entire league. So, I think with a little more size added to the lineup, I think the Lakers could contend. So it'll be interesting. LeBron always has the player option pretty much every summer. So, we'll see. He could go somewhere else. I saw the Warriors are calling about everybody. Do you see this? The Warriors are calling about him. They're calling about KD again. Like, they're just desperate to try to get somebody to come in and play with Steph. So, yeah, the NBA never disappoints, though. Like, the NBA never disappoints. Like, the day after that deal was made, Darren Fox got traded, and there was like 3 firsts and 3 seconds involved, and everybody's just like, whatever, NBA trade. Like, and I think my favorite part about all of it was Utah being involved in it. And we were joking yesterday on the show, like, they're calling, both the Lakers and Mavs are calling Utah and being like, hey, listen, we need something to get this done. And the Jazz are just like, you know what? We'll only do it if we get Jalen Hood-Schifino. And they're like, sure, you can have Jalen Hood-Schifino, man. Like, here's your picks. Here's Jalen Hood-Schifino. Let's move along. So, wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff, man. All right, let's slide over to, well, we got TGL action tonight too. Hey, Huss, did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah. And yes.
I'm just seeing in chat that Tiger Woods' mother passed away today.
She did pass away this morning. I saw he posted on social media this morning. She was at the event last week, I'm pretty sure. Like at his last event.
Oh, was she really?
I thought she was in the crowd. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't mean it, but I'm pretty sure. I thought I saw his mom in the crowd. I thought they cut to her at some point. So, yeah, I mean, that's sad news there for sure. Hopefully they do some sort of tribute tonight, even though his team's not playing. I mean, TGL is his company. It's Boston Common versus LA. Boston Commons -1. It's a coin flip. It's essentially a pick 'em. Boston Commons -110. Los Angeles is -115. No TGL buzz in Costa Rica, hey?
There wasn't a lot of TGL buzz.
It's not there yet,
to be honest. Although I did watch 2 hours of Pebble Beach in Spanish on Sunday.
You were like me as a child watching the Habs games in French.
Habs games in French. Hey, you know what's fun? Actually, sometimes I will watch the Saturday night game on the Hockey Night in Canada Punjabi.
Oh yeah,
Those guys do a good job. I actually met them, the guys that do those games at the Grey Cup this year. And I was saying that, sometimes I'll just throw it on. And it's neat to hear the inflection of announcers in other languages. But yes, I figured I would learn a little bit of Spanish by watching Pebble. And it's actually funny we mentioned that because Rory was tonight. The man on the weekend. And you do wonder how much he's got left in the tank for this right afterwards. I mean, he's playing very, very well, and was the best guy at Pebble. How does this translate into TGL action tonight?
The two lineups tonight are Boston Common, Los Angeles Golf Club, Rory, Adam Scott, Keegan Bradley against Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, and Justin Rose. Those are the three that you'll be looking at tonight.
Sorry, it was who for LA again?
Fleetwood, Morikawa, and Justin Rose versus Bradley, Adam Scott, and Rory.
Okay, so no homo. Bradley, Adam Scott,
and Rory. Yeah.
I love the fact that this is so close. I think I'll ride with Boston Common tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride the hot stick of Rory McIlroy here, buddy. Plus, they were coming off the tight loss to Tiger last week.
Yes.
So they're familiar with it. I'm glad you brought because I was going to say no matter what, I think I'm riding with Rory on this one.
Yeah, let's roll with Boston Common. Should we put Boston Common in on a multi-sport parlay today? Should we do we grab a couple hockey games or maybe what do we have in the NBA tonight?
Well, the Clippers and Lakers play tonight. And yeah, that's what I thought. The Clipper are a pretty heavy favorite. I mean, parlay it at minus 345. I think the Clippers are going to win this, like post Luka trade. He's not playing yet. Be some distractions around the Lakers. I like the Clippers money line tonight. And a parlay, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So, I mean, if we're looking for a basketball game, we could definitely do that. And then the NHL, we're going to get to the slate.
What about AD? What about AD and the Mavs in Philly?
Well, he's hurt too. So I don't know if he's going to be, both these guys have a similar timeline. So, I mean, even with, being an underdog against a banged up 76ers isn't great either. Yeah, I mean, we could go.
Mavs. Pick them, basically.
I mean, that's a huge game. I don't even know what side to get on in that one. But let me just see here. Let's just say we went chalky on the clip, and then what do we got? TGL, and that's a decent number because Boston Commons minus 110. We're at plus 146. If we were to and I'm just going to pick a hockey game here. Let's just say Devils minus 141. That gets us to plus 321 on a multi-sport. I mean,
that's just Clippers to win at minus 345.
That's just Clippers to win at minus 345. And then Boston Common at minus 110. And then if we get a decent hockey number, we're probably going to get boosted close to 4-1. So, I mean, there's
a ton of games tonight. I think we should still do.
We'll do a hockey parlay too. There's just so many games. You know what? Let's do a hockey parlay. Let's see what's left out, and maybe throw that into the multisport.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds very good.
All right. I'll get the starting goalies up here.
Hey, how about Rat Hartman? 10 games. That bum ass idiot. And the Wild fans are so out on him too. It was a delight last night reading the replies to Michael Russo's tweet that Hartman
seeing Wild fans be like, enough's enough.
And you know that they just signed him to a 3-year, $12 million deal last year. He's in year one, making $4 million a year. He's dropped down to the fourth line at times. He's going to lose close to $500,000. Could not have happened to a nicer guy.
Here are your starting goalies for tonight, and it's a busy one. Vasilevsky's confirmed for Tampa. Ottawa last night is a dog in Nashville cashing for us. Me and Patty and Jake, we were all over the Sens yesterday. That was nice. So they're on the back-to-backs tonight. Down in Tampa against the Lightning. Olmark unconfirmed at this point. Nedeljkovic for Pittsburgh. Nico Dawes will get the start for the Devils. Columbus and Buffalo. Got to kind of like the over probably in that one. Merzlikins and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen Expected to go there. Jeremy Swayman will start for Boston. Minnesota's in town. Marc-Andre Fleury getting the start there. Logan Thompson versus Bobrovsky in that Washington-Florida game. Sorokin confirmed to start for the Islanders. Aiden Hill not yet confirmed for Vegas. Eric Comrie listed as likely for the Jets. Kochetkov unconfirmed for the Hurricanes. Binnington will start for the Blues. Skinner unconfirmed for the Oil. Dustin Wolf for the Flames. Joseph Wall unconfirmed at this point for Toronto. Flyers and Utah. Vejmelka, likely. Samuel Ersson confirmed. Dedemko and Blackwood unconfirmed in that Colorado-Vancouver game. Detroit and Seattle, Talbot and Joey Decord unconfirmed. This is a huge slate tonight. Montembeault is confirmed for Montreal. They're heading into San Jose. Georgiev unconfirmed at this point. And then Dallas and Anaheim in the late game. No confirmations between the pipes there. Speculation, Ottinger and Gibson. So, Huss, welcome back, man. There is no shortage of action for us tonight in the NHL. So what do you like here?
No kidding. We've been actually had hit that winner on Friday night too. Now that I remember,
that
the
was two dogs.
Buffalo Columbus game, which was quite nice. Avalanche at Canucks. I do think, what do we have the number there? Oh, minus 147. By the way, just quickly, maybe, how about we do this, Dusty, just to wrap our first parlay?
Yeah.
You said something that really kind of piqued my interest, the over.
In the Columbus-Buffalo game.
I think that's what we put on.
When I said it, I was like, oh, that should definitely be the third leg of the 3-4 parlay.
I put it in already, and actually it gets it to plus 392.
Pre-boost. Yeah.
Pre-boost.
All right, so a multi-sport. I like this. We got the Clippers money line at home against the Lakers, Boston common, and then the over 6.5. Jake, if you're watching, I'm going to text this to you anyway, just in case. But that'll be our multi-sport for tonight, and now we'll build a little NHL parlay here.
All right, so we can get that off.
I'm sending that to the boys right now.
Teams that I do like tonight. The Avalanche have been playing very well. Mackenzie Blackwood is on a heater. Demko's in net, it looks like, or they're expecting him for Vancouver. Has not been particularly good. The Leafs sure look good against the Oilers on Saturday night, huh?
That first period they did, man. So we had Dreger on yesterday, and I saw some people on Twitter after that game saying that, that was the best period that the Leafs might have played all season, the first period. And he's like, yeah, it's close. Like, they played awesome in the first period. The Oilers absolutely peppered him for the final 40, and Joseph Wall was outstanding. But they looked really good in that first period.
When it's funny, we had the battle of the top two teams in the league, Washington and Winnipeg on Saturday, game of the year contender, 5-4 in OT for the Jets. And I fire up the odds late last night, looking ahead to today. And both of them were plus money home dogs in their games today. Now, the line for the Jets has gone from even money now to plus 118 because Eric Comrie's in and not Connor Hellebuck. So it's kind of hard against a good team like Carolina with the Jets on this run. First came back after the long road trip. That's going to probably be a stay away for tonight. I think right off the bat, Avalanche and Toronto, road favorites at minus 147 in Calgary and Vancouver, are certainly juicy. And I mean, I got to tell you, speaking of road teams, now they're a slight road underdog, but the Detroit Red Wings are on, 7 straight games they've won right now. They've run the table on this Western road trip with wins in Edmonton, in Calgary, and in Vancouver. I would argue they've got the easiest spot on this road trip tonight against the Kraken, and they're at minus 103. You mentioned, who's it, Lyon?
No, I don't. Did I say Lyon? I don't think I said. No, Talbot.
Oh, no, Cam Talbot.
Yeah, Talbot.
Cam Talbot going up against Joey Decord.
That's a decent number right there. You're right.
I mean, just with the way that they're playing right now, I wouldn't be betting against Detroit at minus 103. Let's see. Vegas is in, man, we've got a lot of these minus 147 road favorites where it's much better teams playing on the road against home dogs. Now, sometimes we do like taking those. I mean, they have been good to us in the past. Man, part of me would love to take Ottawa, but man, that second half of the back-to-back.
That's asking a lot. And they've won 5 in a row. Like, I could see why they'd be like, okay, like, let's get through tonight and move on. You know, like, it's...
Boston got that win against the Rangers in their last game. They had been pounded by the Jets and Sabres in their previous 2. The Minnesota Wild, like, I don't think the loss of Hartman is going to be much of a big deal. You know what? I like Minnesota tonight. You know, Minnesota had that dreadful loss to the Sens. Now, it was 3-0 when Hartman went full Royal Rumble and did his DDT to Tim Stützle. And then Ottawa scored 3 times on that power play. But, man, there's one thing, and I don't know if you saw my tweet last week about this. The home road splits of the Wild are absolutely crazy. Their record right now at home is under 500. They're 11-2-1. They have 20 wins on the road so far this year. 26-3. And I would say coming off a 6-0 thrashing, if we're looking for a team for some plus money, I don't mind Minnesota at all. So, I mean, I'll throw any of those 4 games. If we want a nice road dog, Minnesota at plus 113. I think Detroit's good value at minus 103. And either Colorado or Toronto. Colorado's in Vancouver. Toronto is in Calgary, both at minus 147. Games that I like, and I would definitely be backing with my own diminished Canadian currency.
I like both of those. Can I throw a home dog into the mix here?
Yeah.
Okay. The New York Islanders are plus 125 tonight at home. They had won 7 in a row before losing on the road in Florida 6-3 2 nights ago. They get a Vegas team that has just been not even mid. I mean, Vegas has 2 wins in their last 10.
Yeah.
They've got some overtime and loser points along the way, but they've lost 3 in a row. They lost to Dallas. They lost to Columbus. They lost to the Rangers. Before that, they beat Florida, but lost to Dallas, beat St. Louis, but then lost to St. Louis, lost to Chicago, lost to Carolina, lost to Nashville. And the Islanders have been playing really good hockey lately. Like the Islanders, prior to giving up that 6 against Florida, in their 7-game winning streak, they had allowed 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9 goals over a 7-game stretch. So, I mean, I think they've been playing some pretty good hockey. So I would also throw the Islanders at plus 125 at home into the mix as well. So it really depends. I mean, I love Detroit and Minnesota. I'm totally in on those 2 for sure. That puts us at 320. If we go Islanders, it bumps it up to 845, which is a pretty big number. And Colorado and Toronto are the exact same number. That takes it to 605. So either way, I mean, we're probably usually a little bit beyond where we are. So what do you think, Huss?
I say we swing. I say we swing. We might get to 9-1.
It'll be close. Yeah, it'll be close. I mean, it's probably 875 at minimum. All right, so we're throwing the Islanders. Well, actually, no, I had the Jets game in there. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, it's already plus 845 pre-boost. So you're right. Yeah, probably going to be a 9-1 spot.
I think we do it. All right, Red Wings, Wild, Islanders. I love it.
I want 2 dogs in there. Let's do it. Jake's watching, so he's got it. But Jake, I'm going to send it to you anyway, and the boys can throw that up as well. We're just filling their pockets here with parlays today, so hopefully they can get all of those up as well. It is the Lock Shop. Dusty and Huss with you here, presented to you by our partners at Coolbet. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, of course, you can text us at 780-218-9999. Big Uke is saying, hey, what about a Nurse anytime goal on his birthday? That's right. It is Darnell Nurse's birthday. Maybe an anytime goal coming there. Can you believe it? Evan Bouchard hasn't scored a power play goal yet this year, Huss? Like, how crazy is that? It just drags on and on. Bouchard has not scored on the power play this season. for the Edmonton Oilers. It's nuts. A ton of shots, but he hasn't scored yet.
Can we get a number on that for tonight?
Just for the power. Well, I've been predicting it for about 2 weeks. I'm like, tonight's tonight. Bouchard gets the power play goal, but he hasn't just yet. All right, so this is the Tuesday of Super Bowl week. You see a bunch of our broadcast partners and friends down there at Super Bowl started to churn out content. Media night last night. Huss, as a Chiefs fan, same old for you. Another Super Bowl week is upon us. Are you expecting anything to come out of the woodwork this week?
I mean, not from Kansas City's side. All business. I mean, they've been there. They know what the job is. When I got back home last night, after all that travel, I just threw on NFL Network and just let it run and watched, and I mean, having been there a few times, like the media day, the media night's really different than most of the other ones. You have all these people that are asking dumb and weird questions, but the Chiefs are just so comfortable, being there, being back again. Obviously, Mahomes and Kelsey were had huge. By the way, shout out to Dave Naylor. So Mahomes obviously attracts a crowd, and they showed a large, a overhead view of the media craziness in front of Mahomes, and there's all these cameras that are set up, stands up, and there's everyone that's trying to get in. And I look, and who's there? Who's right there in the front row, sticking his head over? Naylor. So I don't know, having been there before, I don't know how long he had to get there just to, it's like getting to the beach early and getting a nice spot where you want to be in. If you speak with Nails this week, ask him how long it took for him to get that spot in front of the podium for Patrick Mahomes. But he was right there. I will say the line's moving a little bit in the Super Bowl, if you've noticed.
The money line. I haven't seen that.
The money line. The point spread hasn't changed. It's still 1.5. But it was minus 125 all last week. It's minus 122 yesterday. It's minus 120 today. I saw an article in Vegas that a couple of sharp bettors that put on big bets had backed the Eagles on the money line, and that moved things a little bit for a couple of the books in Vegas. And a couple of guys said they wouldn't be surprised if it was this closer to a pick'em or a Philly went off as a favorite.
Really?
So as a Chiefs bettor, I'm waiting. I'm going to see how this trends over the course of this week. And if I can get them at minus 115 or minus 110 as we get closer to the game, I will be more than happy to do that. I am interested, and we should, later on when Patty and Jake are on and they can kind of dig into the numbers, be very interested to see where the money's at on both sides so far. But also, traditionally, the spread is a huge part of it. But with it being such a close spread, I wonder if, I would assume, I think most of the bets are probably coming in on just who's going to win this football game.
Yeah. Yeah, like how much action are we actually seeing on the 1.5 as opposed to just a money line play, right?
So but I'll tell you what, I mean, if it stayed at minus 120, I'd be more than happy with that. There's a lot of reasons to think, though, that Philly might be the biggest test for the Chiefs so far. And it's more of what they've done on that defensive side of the football. I mean, that line that they have is an absolute, Jalen Carter, they're a real problem. But again, for me, I think everyone knows which side of the fence that I'm on with this. Just year after year, game after game, week after week, the Chiefs find a way to win. And I don't know, they've come this far. Mahomes called this shot last year at the Super Bowl parade for the Chiefs. We're not done yet. Next year, we're going in and we're going to make history with 3 in a row. I believe in him. I believe in Andy Reid. And the great thing about it, and we saw this in the aftermath of the Buffalo game, is that the way the Chiefs went, and they were criticized for it all year long, like maybe not being a little more impressive, not looking the part of the best team in football. they kept so many of their tricks in their bag. And in a big game like they had against the Bills 2 weeks ago, they were showing things that they had not done at any time this season. I think they'll have a lot more of that for Nick Sirianni. The total will be interesting, though. I mean, Philly's going to be able to run. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Philly will be able to run.
They're not going to get away from it, right? Like, they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they will try to run it. The Chiefs on the defensive side, I mean, that to me is the biggest challenge. And then, I mean, you could argue that Jalen Hurts had his best game of the season against the Commanders. Now, it was against the Commanders' 30th ranked defense.
Yeah.
So
take that for what it's worth. But he did look much better, and you get 2 more weeks rest here for Jalen Hurts, right? Like, so he should look, from a physical standpoint, should be the best he's been in months. So they've got that going for them as well, as far as trying to commit to the running game. And if you can get Hurts going as a threat, not at a full-blown Lamar or Jaden Daniels style, but if you can get him going, it's just going to hopefully open things up for Saquon Barkley if you are on the Eagles side in this football game. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, it's sick. I got really sick after I was back in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I just didn't really, I mean, I've still got over it, but a lot of coughing every now and then, trying to keep the water going. Now I know you guys threw out in the exclusives a big game super boost yesterday. Did you guys put that together?
No. So what they're doing there is that's just the Coolbet boys. They're putting one together every day. So we went over yesterday's, and then today will be a different one. So what is today's? Philadelphia, Kansas City, Chiefs player to lead the game in. No, just player to lead the game in yards from scrimmage. Saquon plus 200. So it was plus 156. Gets up to a 2-1 boost. So that's the Tuesday big game super boost, and we've got a bunch of our combos are already up there as well. Dusty's Undies is up. It's plus 110. Lockshot Partner Parlay's already up. Oh, we got the parlay boost from plus 844 to plus 968.
Yes.
Thanks, boys. That's a huge number. And then the multisport is up at plus 452, which I like. That's a good one. And then anyway, today's big game super boost, and click on promotions to see what they're offering for the big game as well. But today's big game super boost, player to lead the game in yards from scrimmage, Saquon at 2-1 today, Huss.
Saquon, that's an interesting one.
Oh, and money line. Oh, so it's money line Kansas City. That's what I was missing. So it's money line Chiefs win, but player to lead the game from yards from scrimmage, Saquon 2-1. So that's your big game super boost. That'll be up only today over at Coolbet.
Oh, I see. So the Monday one. So you have to get
the Monday one's
on
gone. You had to get on the Monday one yesterday. It's gone. So now this is the Tuesday one. So you can go in, sprinkle the Tuesday one, and be ready for Wednesday's big game boost as well.
2-1 Chiefs. So the Chiefs to win right now is minus 120. Oh, it's actually now plus 214.
Oh, it's already moved since I refreshed the page.
As we're talking about this. But I mean, look at this, and I know we'll really get into all of these props. I wonder what the number is just on Saquon to lead the game.
Well, let's find it. It's got to be here somewhere. What would that be under? Probably like a player yards, player rush yards, player receiving yards. Yards leaders. That would be it. There we are. Minus 250. Wow. So if you think the Chiefs are going to win, but you like Saquon to have a good game, I mean, pretty good number at 2-1. Saquon's minus 250. The next closest is A.J. Brown at 7-1.
Saquon 11-1 to record a lost fumble.
Ooh.
Mind that. Jalen Hurts plus 565 to record a lost fumble. We all remember how the last time these two teams played, that was the turning point in the game. The Hurts fumbled the time before.
I've made two. I've been doing on my show, Huss. I've been picking just a Super Bowl play of the day for the whole week. Yesterday, and you'll like it, I guess, so far. Yesterday, Kareem Hunt touchdown. He's got touchdowns in 4 straight. I think there's a Kareem Hunt touchdown coming in the Super Bowl. And today, there's some Travis Kelce discussion. This was a little bit more of a difficult decision, but I did go Kelce over 6.5 catches in the football game. Do you think we see a steady diet to Travis in this game, or do they find another way to pick apart the Eagles?
Well, they want to do that.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of, do the Eagles put so much attention on Kelce
over the middle, fill that part of the field and force them somewhere else?
And you'll see, there's a stat I saw that Mahomes completed more passes behind the line of scrimmage than any quarterback in the league this year. And it really wasn't close. And part of that is the Andy Reid offense. You'll often have, like line up in trips and then just rip it to Worthy behind. You've got a couple blockers, and, they kind of use that passing game almost as the running game in a lot of ways. But I do think that part of that is, whoa.
What?
The money line is now -10, -110 Chiefs, -108 Eagles, and the spread is 1.
You scared me there. You scared me. I was like, what the hell? The Lakers flipped Luka. What's happening?
No, yeah. But basically, we're at a pick'em now. We are basically at a pick'em. Chiefs -110, Eagles -108. I was just saying I was going to wait, and we had to wait all of 5 minutes for this game to come through. Now, you know what I'm hoping for. If we can just possibly get the Chiefs as an underdog, and I don't care if it's -108 to -110. You know what Mahomes' record is as an underdog. So let's keep that steam coming in for the Eagles, people. If you're an Eagles bettor, you better get it in right now. And then we'll have the Chiefs as an underdog, and then we can officially get that in and make that happen.
Huss, we got about 2 minutes left here. We got 2 guys in goalie coming up. Just quickly on Cooper Kupp, where do you think he ends up?
Wow, it's a great question. I mean, I think I could probably list you 20 teams.
What about Buffalo, though? What about Buffalo?
Yeah. I mean, when you think about Buffalo, I mean, that's part of the reason why I think Josh Allen was the MVP. I was so impressed with what he did without, And listen, you know what? They've gone in and they drafted Keon Coleman. I mean, he's pretty good. Other than that, they had like Mac Hollins and
Shakir.
The thing is, Shakir's really good, and he does sort of play that similar role as Kupp. But I'll tell you what, I mean, a team like Buffalo, to get him, I think they'll probably try and trade him to a good team to at least give him a chance to win. I'm sure they'd love to see him over in the AFC. Now he has a contract already.
Yeah, he's under contract. They said they're gonna trade him.
Okay, what about Cincinnati? If the Bengals are losing T. Higgins.
If you're going to lose T. Higgins, I mean, he'd be a nice running mate.
If they don't have the $30 million for Higgins, but they can handle Kupp's contract to go along with Jamar Chase. By the way, congratulations again to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Great week at the Pro Bowl, guys. A real awesome end to a great 9-8 season. It's just, it's something about coming up at your best after the regular season, and nowhere better to do that than the flag football game in Orlando at the Pro Bowl.
Winnipeg Sports Talk. What's coming up today, Huss?
Well, we're going to be talking some CFL. Some big news. Bombers. Bombers losing a number of individuals. Kenny Lawler and Dobson going to the Ticats. Jeff Hamilton's going to come on. We'll jump in on that. And then we'll dive into tonight. Eric Comrie getting the start for Winnipeg. John Shannon coming on. He just sat down with Kevin Cheveldayoff on his podcast earlier this week. So a lot of Jets talk, and then we'll kind of dive into some more Super Bowl props. But I am looking forward to letting the WSTers that weren't with us on the Lock Shop know about those 2 juicy parlays that we have up. that I have already bet on. Plus 452 on our Boston Common Clippers, Jackets Buffalo over. And then we're over 9-1 on this one. Hey, it was a good week. I had 7-1s, 8-1s last week. Let's take it to another level, Dusty, and nail.
As Kevin Garnett once said, man, anything is possible. And that's what we're looking at tonight, trying to clean sweep these bad boys. All right, Winnipeg Sports Talk over in the WST channel. Coming up here in about 4 minutes. We've got two guys in the goalie with myself, Gager, and Matt Cassian, and we will continue to get you ready for the Oilers and the St. Louis Blues tonight. That's coming up on two guys in the goalie. Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop today. Get in on that Tuesday Super Boost at the top of the page over at Coolbet as well. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.